Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. In today's look, I'm going to be leaning into this trend of cool toned makeup. So on our model, I'm going to be creating a gray smoky eye with a bit of eyeliner and pair it with a cool toned nude lip. So without further ado, if you want to learn how I created this look right here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm taking the Elemis Pro-Collagen Cleansing Balm to cleanse and prep our model's skin with. She did tell me beforehand that she has dry skin, so this makes for the perfect first step because what it does is it not only cleanses the skin, but it softens the dry dead skin cells and gently exfoliates them because you see, it starts out as a cleansing balm, which I gently massage into the skin for a minute or so. And once I add water to it, it transforms into a cleansing milk. And then I'll go in with a washcloth to remove all the product. When I'm using this on myself at home, to emulsify the balm into a cleansing milk, I just use water from the sink. But when I'm working on a client or I'm on a set or a shoot or any place I don't have direct access to a sink, what I have with me in my kit is one of those Evian water facial sprays, and I just spray it into my hands and bada bing bada boom, super easy and quick. I couldn't be more excited for Elemis right now because they're officially in Sephora, which has been a long time coming. So if you're going to be shopping some products during the upcoming Sephora sale, check this one out. I love it. Now, as you see, we have the product completely removed. Her skin is feeling cleansed and looking hydrated, so I'm going to move on to foundation. Today, I'm using the Shiseido Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting Foundation along with the Elemis Facial Oil. And what I'm doing is I'm adding just a drop or two of the oil into the foundation before mixing it together and applying it on. This is a great little hack for those of you who truly have dry skin. The oil adds this kick of hydration and amps up the glow of the foundation. Of course, as many of you know who have been watching my channel for a while now, know that I love this foundation. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's such a beautiful formula that I use all the time. In fact, so much that I need to restock a lot of the shades I have. I chose this shade called Birch because it's the closest I have right now to her skin tone. As you see, it matches the skin underneath her chin perfectly on her neck, but it still is a little bit too light for the perimeter of her face. So I'm going to alter the shade using the darker pigment in a bronzer. The bronzer I'm using is the Saie Sun Melt Cream Bronzer in the shade Light Bronze, and I'm applying this around the face where the sun would most naturally hit and create a bit of warmth. I think as we transition from the winter months into the spring and summer, we're noticing that our skin is a bit deeper in tone, and the foundation that matched us perfectly during the winter is a little too light for us now. So this is a great way to alter the shade you have without having to run out and buy a whole new foundation. And this product I'm using is a cream formula, so it's definitely dry skin friendly. Next up, I'm taking this Huda Beauty Color Corrector in the shade Peach and applying this around the areas of the eye to correct the purple-blue tones. This isn't a product you need to add everywhere per se, much like we would with a concealer. We want to be a bit more strategic with this placement. A little here and a little there, and then tap it in for a soft blend. Once we've color corrected, I'm using this Natasha Denona Hy-Glam concealer to fully conceal and brighten around the eye. You see here how I'm being a bit more generous with this product and I'm covering a bit more space. This will allow for that spotlight effect to the center of the face once we have it blended out. And even though I'm using a brush to apply this on at the moment, I do switch to a sponge to blend and diffuse out the product. Of course, it comes down to personal preference, but I do find a sponge gives me the smoothest blend around the eyes and helps pick up excess product that's not needed. Now, once I have this blended, I'm using this one size translucent setting powder to set that concealer into place. And I'm doing this with a flat brush so I can really press that powder in rather than drag it from side to side because remember, the skin around the eyes is so thin and delicate, and we don't want to disrupt the placement of the concealer underneath that we just work so hard on blending out. So instead of trying to blend all the products together, I rather focus on layering them on top of each other in thin layers, which is going to give us a bright, beautiful concealed under eye that doesn't crease or look cakey. So I'm going to conceal the other eye off camera and then take some of that same setting powder, but this time with a large fluffy face brush to lightly set the complexion products. For those with drier skin, my rule of thumb is less is more with powder, because we can always add more if need be. By the time I work on the eyes and the lips and all that, I can see how the foundation is wearing on the skin and add a little more powder to the areas that are becoming shiny. To blush up the cheeks, I'm taking this Patrick Ta Blush Duo in the shade Just Enough and popping this right on. She was sharing with me that she's been looking for a blush that's a little more natural for her skin tone, you know, not too bright of a pink or anything. So I grabbed for this one because I think it adds the perfect amount of color, but without being too distracting. And then it's at this point I decided that I was going to lightly bake underneath the eyes with the setting powder. Besides this further setting the concealer into place, more than anything, this will help guide me later on when we're creating the winged liner. For brows, I'm using this Benefit Clear Brow Gel and running this through her brow hairs. She already has full brows, and I feel like if I added any pigment, it would take away from the rest of the look. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I gotta choose the areas of the face I want to spotlight, and today that's gonna be the eye makeup. So to start on that, I'm taking the black and white cream pigments from this Makeup by Mario lip palette, mixing them together to create a light gray shade, and using this as a cream shadow. Now, I don't even know if they sell this lip palette anymore, but you can use whatever you have to create the same effect. You can mix eyeliners, cream eyeshadows, or liquid pigments, or you can skip this step entirely if you want and just use powder eyeshadows. But I find this adds a nice base to build on top of. So next, I'm taking this shade here from the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette and lightly pressing and building this pigment up onto the cream shadow before diffusing the edges up and out for a blended effect. By using this technique of layering the powder eyeshadow on top of the cream, we're able to completely cancel out any of the warm undertones from her skin to get that full coverage gray effect. Next up, I'm taking this shade here from the same palette and popping this onto the inner corner and lightly diffusing it up towards the center. I think this pop of white adds contrast and dimension without making this overly complicated to create. Now, where it gets a little more complicated for me is where I take this Melt Black Gel eyeliner and use this to trace and wing out the upper lash line. Y'all know eyeliner is not my strong suit. In fact, this gives me so much anxiety just watching, so I'm gonna leave this here for you to watch, and I'll be right back. Look, as stressful as this was, we got through it. So now I'm gonna take this Makeup Forever double-ended mascara and use this to run through her lashes. We are using false lashes as well, but I still always use mascara anyway to help blend the falsies with her natural lashes. The falsies I'm using today are from Ardell lashes in the style Gainz. What I do is I cut these in half and I apply them just to the outer corner of the eye. It's not an overly dramatic lash, which I like. It just adds a little length and drama to the outer corner for a lifted effect that complements the eyeliner. Now real quick, I'm taking this one size brown liquid eyeliner pen and using this to draw back in her freckles. Really, you can use any brown eyeliner for this, or even a brow pen you can use, but this is a nice little touch that adds realism back to the skin and complements her beautiful freckles. For lips, I'm starting out with this Makeup Forever lip pencil in the shade Endless Cacao and using this to trace her lips with. This is the perfect shade to use for a cool toned lip. In fact, 90% of the time, it's the shade I use on myself because a cool toned lip has been and will always be my favorite. Next up, I'm taking this Patrick Ta cream lipstick in the shade Shy, and I'm brushing this on with an eyeshadow brush. The reason for this is because it allows me to diffuse out that liner, meshing the two colors together, giving us that blended, worn-in look that I think looks quite flattering. After this, using the Kiko Milano gloss in the shade 5, I'm sweeping this onto the center of the lip for that high shine finish. I absolutely love this lip gloss. It has these tiny glitter reflex in the formula that makes the lip combo look so expensive. It's just an overall solid product. But to finish off the look, I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray to set and lock this makeup look into place, which makes this the final step in how we created this cool toned look on our naturally beautiful model. There we have it, kids. I hope you all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.